Looking for things to do in Paris or wondering if it's worth it to travel here? Well, today I'm going to show you 13 things I've enjoyed doing here this past month. I'm Lauren Z. Ray, a full-time traveler living in a new country every month along with my partner Lucas. Make sure to subscribe for more travel tips. Number 1, Eiffel Tower. This one is a classic. If you don't get a pic with the Eiffel Tower, did you even go to Paris? Built by Gustave Eiffel for the World's Fair in 1889 and never taken down, this monument is visited by more than 7 million people per year. You can buy the €27 ticket and take the 2 elevators up to the top, or you could just snap a picture from the Trocadero Gardens across the River Seine. Links to info and tickets in the description for everything listed in today's video. Number 2, the Louvre. Besides housing famous works like the Mona Lisa and Venus de Milo, this museum with 400 rooms and 35,000 artworks is also in an epic palace. So not only do you get to see the works of art, you also get to see some amazing architecture. This is the 4th largest palace in the world. Tickets are €17. If you're pressed for time, make sure to visit the Denon Wing, where the Mona Lisa is located. Now tell me in the comments below, is seeing the Mona Lisa on your bucket list? It was definitely on mine, but also so is the Northern Lights, which I hope to see one day. Number 3, chill at a cafe. Okay, this one may be obvious, but when you're in Paris, you have to stop by a cafe. Get a coffee, get a croissant, and enjoy some people watching in Paris. This one has been one of our favorite pastimes. You can stay here for hours or just get a quick bite to eat, but it is a must. Number 4, Versailles. About an hour train ride from Paris is the city of Versailles, where King Louis XIV built his splendid palace. With your €21.50 ticket, you get to tour the palace as well as the gardens and surrounding properties. I recommend adding the guided tour as well because you get to skip the long security line and go through the group one and see rooms that aren't open to the public. There are also less people on this tour than the public one. Another tip is to arrive right when the palace opens. There seem to be less people at this time, so you get to tour the palace with less crowds. Number 5, Pere Lachaise Cemetery. Named after the priest Louis XIV confessed all his sins to, this cemetery was founded in 1804 by Napoleon Bonaparte. Take a walk around this historic place for the vibes. Cars aren't allowed to drive through it, and there's plenty of walking paths. It is quite fun finding unique and interesting tombstones on the property. Stop by Chopin, Jim Morrison, Gertrude Stein, or Oscar Wilde's tombs, as well as other famous names. Number 6, Sainte-Chapelle. This church looks almost as if it's entirely made of stained glass because of its 1,113 stained glass windows. Built in just 7 years in the mid-13th century by King Louis IX to house the newly purchased Crown of Thorns. That's right, apparently Jesus' real Crown of Thorns is owned by the French. Before the fire, you used to be able to see the Crown of Thorns the first Friday of every month at Notre Dame. Tickets here are €11.50. Number 7, Sacre in Montmartre. In the neighborhood of Montmartre and on top of a hill is the White Dome Church of Sacre. It's free admission to go inside and €6 to climb the tower. Number 8, Arc de Triomphe. This is a monument that was commissioned by Napoleon Bonaparte for his victory in 1805 at the Battle of Austerlitz. There is an observation deck inside that costs €13 to go up in. There are 284 steps to the top of the arc, so it can feel quite like a workout. I like the view better here than the Eiffel Tower as it wasn't as high or as scary, plus the space is more open and less crowded. Number 9, the Army Museum. This may not be the most talked about museum in Paris, but it is such a fascinating one. Here you'll find collections of weapons and uniforms tracing French military history, and they have some super interesting ones. Plus, you get to see Napoleon Bonaparte's tomb, and should I say mausoleum? Tickets are €14. Number 10, the Catacombs of Paris. This is a very interesting and possibly controversial thing to do in Paris. 65 feet below ground level, you'll descend to find the catacombs, which are housed in a former limestone mine. More than 6 million people are buried down here, some being those of the French Revolution in the late 1700s. In 1810, they decided to stack the bones in this creative way you see today. Is this something you'd visit, or would it be too haunting for you? Tickets sell out fast and are pricier at €29 each. Number 11, the Rodin Museum. This is a sculpture and art museum housed inside Auguste Rodin's actual house from the early 1900s. You can tour the famous works inside his home, like the Kiss, and also out in the gardens, like the Thinker. The property the museum is on is just magical. Definitely recommend stopping by. Tickets are €12. Number 12, the Cluny Museum. This French medieval art museum is housed in one of the oldest buildings in Paris. It's partly made from the ruins of a 2nd century Roman bathhouse. Inside, you can discover sculptures, artworks, and tapestries from the medieval times of Paris. It was so cool. Tickets are €12 each. Number 13, Notre Dame. Last but certainly not least is the Gothic Cathedral from 1163 that took more than 200 years to build. The cathedral is one of the most widely recognized symbols of Paris, and Napoleon Bonaparte even had his coronation here. Since the fire in 2019, it's been under reconstruction and can only be seen from the outside. It's scheduled to reopen by 2024. Of course, there is so much to see on a visit to Paris, and these are just some of my favorite things to do here. Comment below what is definitely on your bucket list when it comes to Paris, and make sure to subscribe for more travel tips and vegan restaurant reviews. You can also follow daily tips on my Instagram. Hit the bell button so you know about my next upload, and I'll see you soon. Bye.